Welcome. Today we're going to dive into a function that is, quite literally, the bedrock of any successful hotel operation: reservation management. I want you to think of this as your personal roadmap, guiding you from just being proficient at your job to becoming a true leader in the front office. This quote just perfectly captures the heart of what we're talking about. We have to get past this old idea of reservations being simple data entry. It's not. It's your very first conversation with a guest, it's the first promise you make to them, and it's the strategic foundation for everything that's going to follow. Hello and welcome. As your guide today, I'm bringing insights gathered from AI-driven analysis across the most modern hospitality operations out there. And I'm especially pleased to welcome all of you students from Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. It's all designed to support your professional growth in our incredibly dynamic industry. So, our path for today is broken down into 5 key areas. We're going to start with why reservations are so important strategically. Then we'll get into the details of operational and planning mastery. From there, we'll look at the technology that makes it all happen. And finally, and this is the best part, we'll connect all of it to your path to leadership. Okay, let's dive right into our first section. The whole point here is to reframe how we think about reservations, not as some administrative chore, but as the true strategic heart of the hotel. Think about it. Every single interaction, it doesn't matter if it's through an online booking engine, an email, or a phone call, that is the guest's very first impression of your property. This is your chance to build confidence and set the tone for their entire stay. Honestly, it's an opportunity you just can't afford to miss. Effective reservation management really stands on these 3 pillars. First, you've got operational efficiency, which just means a smooth, error-free process. And that, of course, leads directly to higher guest satisfaction. Now, when you have both of those working together, that's what allows for the ultimate goal: optimizing your revenue. They are completely linked. A weakness in one of them is going to undermine the other two. It's that simple. All right, let's move on and see how this all builds. We're now going to look at mastering operational excellence. And this is all about the fundamental, absolutely non-negotiable processes that prevent chaos and guarantee quality service. This is it. This is the critical pathway that every single booking follows. And I want you to notice the emphasis on verification and precision at every single step. Capturing information isn't just taking down a name. It's about understanding a preference. Applying a rate isn't just typing in a number. It's about honoring an agreement. You see, every step is a chance to either build trust or to break it. And wow, this slide just perfectly illustrates the stakes. A single error in the reservation process. It doesn't just sit quietly in the system. Oh no, it cascades, it snowballs into the real world. It causes check-in delays, billing disputes, and it damages relationships. But look at the other side. Meticulous accuracy builds this incredibly powerful, positive cycle of loyalty, great reviews, and at the end of the day, profitability. Okay, so now we're going to elevate the discussion a bit. Mastering the process is absolutely essential, but leadership requires moving from just managing tasks to actively influencing business outcomes, and that happens through strategic planning. So here's a crucial point. The front office doesn't operate in a vacuum. It forms this incredibly powerful strategic partnership with the revenue management team. The front office has the real-time booking data, and revenue brings the market analysis. Together, they forecast demand and set the right rates. For instance, imagine your team notices a big spike in calls for a weekend when there's a local concert that wasn't on anyone's radar. Getting that info to revenue immediately lets them adjust pricing proactively. It's the perfect way to balance occupancy and profitability. Now, what's really interesting here is just how complex group bookings can be. This isn't just a bigger version of an individual reservation. No way. This is a high-stakes project. It requires meticulous coordination with sales, really complex billing setups, and absolutely flawless execution when that big group arrives. Nailing this is a true sign of an advanced front office team. Let's shift gears now and talk about the tools that make all of this possible. This section is all about that perfect synergy between technology, the systems we use, and communication, the human skills that bring it all to life. So right at the core of any modern hotel is the Property Management System, or PMS. The best way to think of it is as the hotel's central nervous system. It connects every single piece of guest and operational data from the second a booking is made to the final bill. For an aspiring leader, mastering your hotel's PMS is simply non-negotiable. This brings us to a really critical question, one I want you to ask yourself. Is your communication just transactional, simply confirming a booking and a rate? Or is it transformational? Are you using that interaction to anticipate needs, to personalize an upcoming stay, and to start building a genuine relationship with that guest before they even walk through the door? All right, in our final section, we're going to tie all these threads directly to your career. Because mastering reservation management isn't just about being great at your current job, it's about proving you are ready for the next one. If Future Leader shows they can think strategically, you don't just see a single reservation, you understand its impact on occupancy patterns, on staffing levels for housekeeping, and on the hotel's entire revenue strategy. You see the big picture. You also have to speak the language of the business. Understanding key metrics, things like average daily rate or ADR, your overall occupancy, and RevPAR, which is your revenue per available room, that's absolutely essential. This financial literacy is what lets you make decisions that perfectly balance amazing guest service with strong financial performance. At its core, leadership is built on a foundation of trust, and that means handling guest data with the utmost confidentiality, applying rates fairly, and just upholding integrity in everything you do. Ethical conduct is what builds loyalty, both within your team and with your guests. And finally, a true leader always maintains a guest-centric mindset. Every process, every decision, every new piece of technology you consider is ultimately judged by one simple question: how does this improve the guest experience? You become the champion for the guest inside the hotel walls. Look, this journey isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a commitment to constantly getting better. Technology is going to evolve, guest expectations will definitely change, and the market will always be shifting. The best leaders are the ones who are dedicated to lifelong learning, not just for themselves, but for their teams too. So, I'll leave you with this one thought. The skills we've discussed today, they really offer you a choice. Are you going to simply manage bookings as they come in? Or will you use your mastery of this fundamental process to become the architect of the entire guest experience, from that very first click to the final farewell? The choice is yours.